Hello! Today I'm going to be taking you out with me on a little trip to Berkeley where I will find a nice little spot under the magnolia trees and show you the process of this plein air painting that I did on site with gouache paints. I'm going to show you the materials and my setup, how I do this when I'm just out and about, and the entire process of that little scene. Here's a quick little flip through of some of the other paintings that I've done over this past year in this travel journal. I like to take it with me on trips, and when I have a moment, I can do a little bit of painting to capture what is around me. I am out and about today to do some gouache painting. I have some M-gram gouache here that I have put into a mini palette. And I have this painting that I have gotten started on, which you saw in that first time-lapse portion. It was mostly pretty quick stuff. That time-lapse was sped up by about 6 times, so this much took 6 minutes. And then I'm waiting for this initial layer of base colors to dry so that I can start building up on top of that with more opaque gouache colors and highlights and things. And this is sort of the scene that I've got in front of me. So as you see, this is a selective portion of this overall scene. There's a lot of trees and vines and ivy and all kinds of stuff going on. And I'm taking out these pylons. Those are getting in the way of my composition. But aside from that, I'm sticking pretty close to what I see in front of me. Now, also, you might want to see what my setup is here. Well, actually, what I've got here is, it's just a hard plastic case, which I got at a Japanese dollar store, although it was not $1. It was more like $6. And I have, well, this arm here is what I'm using to attach my camera to when I'm videoing as I paint, so that I don't actually have to hold the camera in place and wobble around and drive you guys crazy with my unsteady focus. And I have, of course, my mini palettes filled with gouache. And this is a collapsible cup. This is really handy. I can't collapse it right now to show you because it's full of water. But you can see it just kind of flattens up to a disc that is maybe, a 1/4 inch thick, which is pretty nice. And then it even has a lid, so I can wipe it dry, and if I don't get all the moisture out, I can just slap the lid on, and that will keep it from getting my other stuff messy. I have my watercolor cold press paper, which I like using for my outdoor travel excursion sketching and drawing and stuff. As you've seen, here are some past drawings, and I've shared these before. And I have here on the side some other stuff which is not actively in use. I just pulled them out just in case I wanted to. There's my other brushes in case I want to shift up to smaller brushes or bigger brushes. I have water to fill this up if I need a clean thing of water, and I usually also carry an empty bottle with me to empty the dirty water into, so that I don't have to dump it out where I am. And yeah, that's about it. But what you see here on my lap in front of me is all I actually need to do the painting, well, and the brush. I'm taking some of my white so that I can do some bits of highlight now, mixing it with some yellow, which gives me this very bright, fresh spring green yellow tone in my mixing dish. And I'm using that to dot in some of the leaf highlights here in the foreground. You notice I took advantage of my cold press watercolor paper in the time-lapse portion where I just brushed swiftly across my page, and that left me with lots of white gaps showing in the page. I like these lampposts that are springing up in the middle of all this foliage, because surrounded by all this greenery, it really gives this Narnia sense to the scene. I'm sitting actually at the University of California campus right now. This is where I went to school. I did computer science and art here. Switching to a slightly smaller brush, and I'm getting brown onto my brush, yeah. And mixing it with, you know what, I'm actually not sure what color I have here. I think it is a purple. We'll find out. I think I forgot to put black into this palette, so I'm making do with purple and brown for this. Mixing that, getting a good amount of it reactivated. Gouache takes a little bit more work for it to reactivate, and what you can do actually, and what I should have done earlier, was to reactivate all these other colors, I should drop some water onto it and let it sit and soak in, and that will help make it a lot easier when I need to use those colors in a moment or whenever to pull some off. Okay, letting those other colors sit. But right now what I need is this. And I'm going to no, that's not quite as dark as I'd hoped. A tree trunk. That's too dark. I feel like Goldilocks. That's not dark enough. Too dark. Branches of this magnolia tree. It's a very twisty, contorted thing. And actually I'm going to switch to an even smaller brush. Alright, here we go. Third time's a charm, right? Or is this only the second time? Who knows? My allergies are making my brain fuzzy right now. All these gorgeous flowers, which I love to be around, but they make me sneeze. And so I am on decongestants right now. The joys of springtime for me. Okay, so what I was saying was that the magnolia tree has these very twisted, angular, contorted branches. So they seem to go one direction and then they zigzag into a different one. And the initial trunk broad area becomes these smaller and smaller twiggy branches reaching out in all directions. And it comes up right against the base of this lamppost, which I really wish now that I had some black for, but I don't. So we'll have to figure that out when the time comes. And also over here is this wooden park bench table at which my daughter is currently sitting at doing some reading while she waits for me to do this painting. She does not know that she is part of this video in a model role.